Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well. From wherever you're watching this channel, I'd like us to start this session a bit differently by wishing UHURU Kenyatta a happy birthday. UHURU is celebrating his 64th birthday. Today, so let's just join hands and wish UHURU Kenyatta a happy birthday. Now, on to the main topic of this analysis, ladies and gentlemen. It's something concerning a statement that Gladys Wanga delivered. Now, Wanga delivered a statement concerning the same UHURU Kenyatta. So there's a reason why I want us to go through this statement from Wanga. It has been shared by someone by the name Paul on X. Now, what is Wanga saying? So before I take you through this, ladies and gentlemen, let me just remind you that it's good if you like this video and also if you subscribe to our channel. It means so much because that is the only way our channel grows. Once again, thank you so much for that support. Let's get into this tweet. Now, Paul has shared a message from Wanga, and Wanga says, Gladys Wanga, with all due respect, you do not qualify to advise President UHURU Kenyatta, a man who led this country with dignity, order, and respect for the rule of law. We know you and your type very well, political offers, desperately clinging on relevance as 2027 approaches. You stand on shaky ground, not because the people have changed, but because you chose the path of betrayal, hypocrisy, and blind loyalty to power instead of truth. This nation is exhausted. Kenyans are tired of William Ruto, tired of the lies, the arrogance, the corruption, and the pain that this regime has inflicted on ordinary citizens. No propaganda can erase hunger. No speech can silence poverty. No sermon can wash away injustice. What this country needs is not noise, not intimidation, but a listening president, a leader who feels the pain of the people, not one who dines with oligarchs while citizens sleep angry. You said our democracy is fragile. No, Governor, your democracy is strong because it belongs to the people, not to the state. You and others in power are the ones weakening it through fear, manipulation, and betrayal. That is the same strategy you used to weaken Raila Odinga, convincing him to chase positions and handshakes instead of listening to the cries of the people. You isolated him from this base and turned his mission into a personal ambition. That is not politics, that's sabotage. UHURU Kenyatta, unlike most of you, is a believer in constitutionalism, democracy, and truth. He knows Ruto better than anyone Ruto has. Ruto was his deputy for 10 years. He warned us, and we ignored him. Today, as a nation drowning in economic misery and insecurity, we realize he was right. And now we seek his forgiveness because we failed to listen when he tried to save this country from a man driven by greed and vengeance. Gladys Wanga, let me remind you of Chris Musando. Do you remember how he died? Do you remember who was blamed and how Raila Amolo Odinga was told the truth but chose silence for the sake of peace? Raila entered a so-called broad-based government, knowing very well the blood of his loyal soldiers cried for justice, and yet he bowed to the same system that destroyed them. So don't lecture us about UHURU Kenyatta. Don't tell us he is the only former president alive when you and your circle are the very reason Raila Odinga's political soul was killed. He dreamt of liberating this nation. His dream of liberating this nation was suffocated by greed, bad advice, and selfish interest. You can defend Ruto all you want, but understand this clearly. The people are watching, and in 2027 they will speak loudly. Power returns to the people, and when that time comes, no position, no connection, and no state protection will save anyone who betrayed their trust. The days of political puppetry are ending. Kenya is rising, and the truth will have the final word. It's a quite long tweet anyway, but that's a message that was delivered to Wanga. And Wanga had actually delivered a statement concerning concerning Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, even going to an extent of reminding people that he is the only living president and that he's supposed to be wiser enough not to create animosity in the nation.
President Uhuru Kenyatta, that when you retire as a president, you become the single most unifying factor for the nation. And today, President Uhuru Kenyatta is the only living retired president, because we had President Jomo Kenyatta, he's late. We had President Mwai Kibaki, he's late. We had President Moi, he's late. So the only former president that we have who is living is President Uhuru Kenyatta. And therefore, he must be the father of the nation. He cannot be dragged into partisan politics, because the nation is a fragile democracy. At any point, we can move and we can be divided. Because us as partisan politicians, we can divide the nation. There must be that one person who can be a uniting factor. And that should be a former head of state. So I just want to say that it is important for President Uhuru Kenyatta to guard that, to guard the sense of unity that he can provide to this nation.
So, but do you think what Uhuru is doing, based on Gladys Wanga's statement, that what Uhuru is doing is just creating enmity among citizens? Is that the case? There was a scenario, there's a message that was shared that Uhuru, when he paid Raila Amolo Odinga's home a visit for the second time to grieve with the family, the intention was for him to clear the way for Rigathi Gachagua, so that Rigathi are received. So if that is the case, what people are saying, then what about the statement from Gladys Wanga? Is Gladys Wanga being honest? Maybe Gladys Wanga is just playing politics. What if Gladys Wanga is playing politics and sending a message that is not true? Is it true that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is the one causing divisions in the country? You see, that's a very important thing that people need to look at. So Wanga has been advised on what she needs to do, and the advice is on the tweet I read, ladies and gentlemen. So if I may dissect this tweet, you know, there are bits here which I need to also look at. There's a part here about Raila Amolo Odinga making a wrong choice of handshake. There's a part here about Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta honoring Constitution. Is that the case? You see, you know, the leadership of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, issues of Miguna and the like. You can just comment below in the comment section whether you think Uhuru observed Constitution better than William Ruto. So there's the issue of constitutionalism, that Uhuru is a believer of constitutionalism. Is a believer in constitutionalism. Then there's the issue here about Gladys Wanga being political orphans. These are people who have been clinging on Raila Amolo Odinga's political court, but Raila is no more. So their re-election will now will depend on their output in terms of performance in their relevant regions. If you are a member of parliament, if you are a governor, if senator, how you performed, it's not going to be at Raila Mekwendo, sasa wewe utapigiwa kura. That's not the case. I think this is the message contained here, that this Gladys Wanga ni mmoja wale ambao wana suffer from they are suffering because they are political orphans. So just go below in the comment section and tell us what you think about the long message that has been shared concerning Gladys Wanga. Perhaps if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Till we catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.